What I wanted from this project was for people to realize that it is okay to have conversations about sex. For me, this project had a really important meaning because when I was 16 years old, I was sexually assaulted. And because of that, I've always had such a negative stigma of talking about sex. But with this project, I was able to enlighten people and that I was able to enlighten people that it is okay to have conversations and that there are resources out there that can help you. And it's important to reach out and find those resources.
Why we chose to set out to work with Prevention and Wellness Center is because they already are a great resource at our school, and they have a lot of information about sex there and services that are offered, especially through the health clinic and CAPS. And they do free STI testing, and it's kind of like a place that people are familiar with, but they don't know entirely what goes on there, and people are like, oh, I can get free condoms there.
Recently I learned that the FGCU Prevention and Wellness Center provides things like free condoms and STD tests to promote safe sex on campus. And I know that me and a bunch of my friends had no idea that this was even a thing, which is bad. And I said I wanted to do this project to inform students of the benefits they might be missing and to encourage safe sex here on campus. One condom can make quite the difference.
Our issue is the increase of STD rates here on campus and around the world. We are addressing this issue by partnering with the Prevention and Wellness Center here at FGCU to get the word out. Our objective is to inform students about the risks of unsafe sex and to provide them with the tools to practice safe sex by giving out free condoms to students.
To determine if the results of our efforts accomplish the goal of our project, we decided to focus on the percentage of students that we had actual interactions and dialogue with that decided to take a contraceptive. Our original goal was to hand out contraceptives to at least 20% of the students that we had interactions with. On our first volunteering session, we were able to hand out 70 contraceptives to the 24 students that we had interactions with, and that's around 3 condoms per person, which is well above our goal. During our second volunteering session, which was a little bit closer to the time of coronavirus, we were able to hand out 28 contraceptives to the 19 students we interacted with. That's around 1.5 contraceptives per student and still well above our goal.
I hope the community puts less of a stigma on talking about safe sex. I also hope that people realize that it is okay to get testing done and they should take it more seriously and they shouldn't be embarrassed when they get it done or being embarrassed about like having to do it or anything like of that sort. And I hope they realize that these tests and all these things aren't embarrassing, but they are a part of your health, and it's important to promote those things to happen.
Now, what I wanted from this project was to talk to fellow students in a friendly manner about safe sex. I gave every opportunity and every effort I could to show up to the volunteer hours right in front of the wellness center to help my fellow students.
Mostly what I learned from the project is I didn't have a personal attachment to it too much, but more so about just trying to help any way you can about educating people on the subject and just overall trying to help a little bit more than what I guess flyers and pamphlets would do, just left out on a table otherwise.
The connection to the class is to break the stigma that talking about STDs is awkward or gross. It's something that needs to be talked about and is very important and can take lives, so it needs to be taken seriously.
With giving unconditionally and doing as much work as you can unconditionally to help open those dialogues where there's no longer controversy about internal or female condoms or dental dams, which, to be fair, before this I didn't quite know what a dental dam was, if I'm being honest. And then, of course, condoms.
I did learn a few things, and the main thing that grabbed my attention was how much more likely somebody is to entertain a conversation with you when you don't put the issue right up in their face, when you don't make it the first topic of the conversation. For example, I noticed a lot of people shied away from a table with just a bowl of condoms on it. They kind of just walked off, or they would try to walk around us, and both forward and behind us. They would actually walk almost like 10 feet away from us. They would make eye contact with us. I kid you not. They would look straight at us, and then they would look the other way, and they would give us like a wide berth, like 10 feet away, and they wouldn't even come close. However, Zach had the brilliant idea of trying to divert their attention away with it. And what he did was he created these little, what he called spring break cups right before the spring break hit. And it was just a prevention and wellness cup, but he would put little goodies in it, like lip balm, pens, and, of course, condoms. And people were much more likely to come up to it.
Oh, there's one ribbon here. Yeah. So phallically, a male condom goes over the male's genitals, penis, and then with an internal female condom, prevention and wellness calls them internal condoms because they can go into any internal organ where you might have sex. And there's 2 rings in there, and the internal, the ring at the tip, would go inside that internal organ, and then it would expand out so you can have a sexual practice.
So basically, like on number 5, you can also put it over the male genital.
Well, when the male genital glands go in, it's going in there. It's just the ring on the inside ensures that it stays there while you're having sexual practice.
Obviously, the bowl of condoms was still there, but they're more willing to come up to it. And even if they didn't take anything off the table, which we said they could take whatever they want, they didn't have to take condoms. But the fact that they were allowed to come up and pick what they wanted on their own volition, they were much more likely to come up and take something, take the cup, take the pens, and a lot of them even took a few condoms with them, even if they weren't going to use them, but somebody they knew would.
It was really nice to have a communication and a dialogue with Nikki and Christine Philippine. Christine Philippine from the health services, who we mainly worked with, and then also as well as Nikki, because we were able to use their common space to advocate for that. And they really received us in a positive manner, and it was really nice, and it was really kind of eye-opening to hear Nikki and how she talked about like how you need to address certain things, and to hear staff ask questions like, what would you do in this case scenario or in this? And it was really interesting.
With this project, I was able to realize that there are resources out there that can help people, and it is actually very important to promote conversations and to be able to have that.
And furthermore, they were a lot more likely to entertain a conversation about safe sex and the services that were offered by the Prevention and Wellness Center right behind us. And that was what I wanted most out of it. Now, what I hope that the community, my fellow students, got out of it was to be better educated on what safe sex meant, how to go about doing it, and the multitude of services that are provided for free by the college itself, namely the Prevention and Wellness Center. If even half the people we talked to took that away with it and understood it, I'd be satisfied. That's my video. Goodbye.